you know, I had basically an extra month that everybody else had because they had no bowl game. So it was good to get some of the jitters out for the guys.
And speaking of no bowl game, now you can go to that bowl game, and that's at the end of the rainbow for you guys now.
Yeah, we're not thinking about that though. We have so much work to do. We've got a long ways to go just between now and the opener.
You were talking earlier about the most important thing for your team in this particular transition period is depth.
It is. We've got to stay healthy, and we've got to develop the guys that we have in all three phases of the game.
What did you think of Silas Red today?
Well, it's early. You know, obviously there's no pads on. As I was just telling Jim, I thought his preparation was really top-notch. How focused he came today, and how mature that he is about his approach to the game. And, you know, just kind of continues along that NFL veteran line. You know, signing a guy who's played before in big games, and carried the ball a lot. So it was good to see that approach, and that's what we had expected.
Charles Woods moved to offense. Is that permanent? Putting that fullback?
Yeah, that's where he is now. You know, we'll look at him there, and you know, see what he can do at fullback and add some depth there because we don't have very much experience.
Nelson, a receiver now?
Yes, Nelson's a permanently at receiver.
Is there anyone not practicing? I know you're not going to talk specifics about situations. Is there anyone not practicing with that?
Yeah, Darius Rogers has not been cleared by the NCAA yet, so he was not out here. And we are waiting word on the way that summer school ends for Marquise Simmons and Isaiah White.
Can you talk about Jared Try? We had him at end a little bit last year, and is that a permanent move now?
It is day one. You know, he played end a little bit before we moved him inside last year, early on in the season, and now we decided to move him back outside to the left and help us with the loss of line.
Coach, we know about the enthusiasm of your players, but what about you inside? What's the feelings like for you inside back on the field?
Well, I think like day one always is. You know, it's always exciting to do so much stuff in office and finally get out there and get on the grass. Our players get to work out there all the time. They don't get to with them, so it's exciting, especially when you see your new players.
How's Silas picking up the offense?
Well, so far so good for day one. It's just day one install. You know, we did a good job, went the wrong way a couple times, like you would expect today. And his preparation, you can see that he wants to be great.
Have the teammates fully accepted him? And
I think you'd have to ask them. It seems like it to me when I'm around them, you know, especially the running back group. And that went back to the recruiting process on the weekend that he was here. Curtis hanging around and DJ hanging around him, and all the skilled guys on offense.
What's the game plan with Robert as far as how much you're going to practice him and stuff?
Yeah, it's probably going to change every day. You know, I'm just really watching it along with our medical staff and see how it goes. And I hope that's one of the things about feeling like a veteran coach. You know, that we've done this before. That we don't need to make all kinds of statements in the first week of training camp and we push guys too far. So pulled Robert out after individual today. He did run around and walk through this morning a little bit too. So we'll probably just keep moving him along a little bit at a time. He wanted to keep going, but we've got a long ways to go.
You said you wanted to see him up close. Did he look okay? I mean, it seemed like he was moving fine out here.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed like it. So we'll see.
How about Matt?
I thought he looked really good. You know, this morning, whatever, 3:30, as well as this one. And he did force a couple balls. You know, so we'll get that back out of him. You know, that's just some excitement too.
Other than Robert, what were you looking for specifically today? What was kind of your focus?
Well, I think you know, to go back and see the film and see how we look on the defensive line. You know, especially with our backups. You know, left tackle flashed at times, had some offsides as well. And so, you know, we'll see. You're really looking at everything early on. You know, there's a ton to look at. You know, besides the few guys that you really know. With them, they're trying to expand the role.
What happened to Wes Horton tonight?
Dehydration cramps.
Okay. And I say you had Leonard inside and JR outside. Is that where you're looking to play those two guys?
That's where we're starting. You know, we don't know where we'll end up, but we put Leonard inside in 3 technique, and we'll put JR out at left end.
Did something happen to Devontae Wilson at one point?
Yes, cramps as well.
Where was Isaiah Wiley tonight?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. We're waiting for Isaiah to be cleared academically. We're waiting on summer school grades.
Is Brian Bacham the same?
No, Brian is not practicing right now.
Is that a team issue? Team rules type issue?
No. It's a health issue. time we call someone else, it's a health issue.
It's a health
Yes.
issue? Okay. Okay.
Gotta ask Tim.
Oh, and what happened to George Farmer?
He came out.
What's Darius Rogers' status at this point?
Where you been?
I was talking to Matt. I didn't know you were talking. I didn't hear the announcement.
No, he's not been cleared by the NCAA yet, so he's not in our camp yet. He was on the sidelines, street coach with his dad.
Do you feel like the addition of Silas is? Everyone talks about the depth factor, but do you feel like it's created a higher level of competition? It seemed like the running backs are really going after it tonight.
I do. I think that you're seeing a combination of things with Curtis. I think that Curtis, we would have seen an improved Curtis anyway, because Curtis has really grown up, his approach to the game, his approach to life, and so we've seen those strides with him. And I think this just even pushed a little further. We all need competition, so adding that, I thought Curtis looked great today.
Silas said he's given a fair shot to compete at the number 1 spot. Do you see that? That you're really doing that?
Sure, yeah, but that's nothing special. We did that with all our giving guys. We put them to the top and see how long they can stay there.
With Nelson at receiver, does that just kind of show that you're comfortable with the depth you have at tailback now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nelson was probably as happy as anybody about Silas coming, because he knows we're going to have to play running back, because he's a team guy. And I know he really didn't want to. So this way he gets to go out and play receiver.
Next center, if
One or two more
Khalid's
guys.
not in there,
It would be Abe
It would be Abe.
or Cyrus.
Okay.
Did Charles Burks get moved to fullback? I didn't.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How did you feel like Silas fits in with all these guys?
It seems really well. Seems like, I think if you go back to when we signed him and all the interviews and conversation, a big part was not just the player that you saw on film. In order for this to happen, it had to fit right. It had to fit right both ways. And if you talk to Silas's high school coach, you talk to former coaches that have been around him, people that have been around, he's a very competitive, great kid. And that's the only way this was going to work, because I believe that our core of our great players, that you all know who they are, all these preseason All-Americans, are really good kids that love competition and they love the work. And if he was not like that, like if you signed a veteran free agent in the NFL and he's that type of conflict guy, it would not have worked. These guys would not accept him, and it wouldn't have been worth it. And so we researched it, we thought it would work, and then when he was here for his 40 hours, it definitely worked. I mean, he ended up sleeping at TJ and Matt's house.
How much of the chance to win included in those conversations you had with him?
Well, I think that was more for him. I mean, he had dreams of playing in big bowl games, and at least having a chance to compete for those, and those were taken away from him.
When you had so-called free agents taken away from you, you obviously weren't happy about it. And when you go ahead and go after someone kind of taking advantage of the same loophole, some people view that as maybe being hypocritical. What do you think of that?
Well, I wouldn't say that I wasn't happy about it. I never said anything about coaches, and no head coach ever called me about it. I mean, remember, the NCAA does something for a reason, and if you look at, I believe ours was, we had a 2-year bowl ban, and it was kind of like, oh, well, in the rules, you can transfer with 2 years. The NCAA went out of their way to not only say that all guys can transfer, they changed rules for the first time maybe ever, as far as off-campus recruiting, unlimited phone calls. They wanted, not counting these guys on your 105, they wanted these guys an opportunity to do what they wanted.
In this case, you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, those rules were not lifted in ours, and I still don't have a problem with coaches that recruited our guys.
Silas said that he wasn't offered coming out of high school. Did you recruit him?
I was actually at Tennessee.
Did you recruit him at Tennessee?
I think we did not sign a guy because we had signed Bryce Brown and David for the year before, so I think we weren't going to sign a running back of the year. I believe he came in the summer, but I think I was at league meetings or something when he came by the campus. I did not see him. Okay. Thanks.